One of them did it. We got chicken wings, peaches, Welch juices. Got 2 cases of these. A box of Sam's grain chips. They got these chips. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Ballpark hot dogs. Teriyaki noodles. A pack of ground beef. Packets on the sticks. Seasoning salt. Pickles. Powdered donuts. Fruity pebbles. These are the best. Pineapples. Croissants. Some Gushers. Rice Krispie treat. Welch fruit snacks. A case of Sprites. Lucky Charms. Kool-Aid pajamas. More chicken. Tea. Coke. And what juices. And Captain John bread. Yeah. And that completes the Sam Club haul. So now we're finna put this stuff up. And we're finna go to the next stuff.
So let me get this straight. Sadly, we have some taxpayers that could barely afford groceries, let alone pay their bills on time, right? That same taxpayer does not qualify for food stamps because they earn too much. But that same taxpayer is also responsible and must contribute to help able-bodied citizens receive free food every month. So while the taxpayer suffers and can barely afford food, the able-bodied citizen gets free food and doesn't suffer. This needs to change. All right? I'm glad it's changing. That woman in that video is a trash parent. I haven't seen not one fruit or vegetable. No water. Right? This is a trash person, a garbage parent. I'm glad she got cut off. Thank you, Trump.
We got.
Hey, Shalom, Shalom. Call HALAL, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. That's giving all praise to the Most High. In the name of His only begotten Son. In the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to our teachers, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us His truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad. Shalom to 144,000. And as you see in this video, this woman, all right, if you can even call it that, okay, Big Keisha, or Big Shirley, Keisha, she's showing off all the things she got, you know, shopping at Sam's Club with her EBT card, all right, and it says $1,500 EBT haul. Who the fuck getting $1,500 in EBT? Then it says, just check my card and had $12,000.87. I mean, $12,087, whatever, in food stamps. Now, how you getting up money in food stamps is beyond me. But look at this, man. All right, the TikTok is Quay Party of 9. She got 9 kids, and these N-dubs, bro, they'll have all these damn kids just so they can keep getting these benefits, man. You see this nigga in the back, the son look like with green dreads. You know, these are 2/3, man. That's gonna have to be destroyed. GMO babies. She's dancing and got a belly under her neck. I mean under her chin. Okay, just overweight, wotan. All right. She said it was no vegetables and fruit, but it was some corn, which corn really has no nutritional value because they spraying it with glyphosate and all type of poisons, you know, in the field. And you know, she had some some packaged peaches or whatever. But all that stuff, if it come in the package, it got all type of additives and sugars added to it and garbage. You know, it's not good for you. You know. So really, what she's doing is she's poisoning her own children. Okay, and herself. This is poison. This is, as it says, this is a horrible parent. All right, a horrible parent. And I always, you know, mention this app. All right, let me see if I can get it real quick. Yuka. All right, I love this app, man. All right, I love this app because when I go into the store and I might scan something, it lets me know exactly if I need it or not. All right, and this was just me scanning different stuff that I see people buy. You know, for their kids. You know, this one chick, she bought this for her kid. The shit got a 1 out of 100, okay? And they'll feed this to their children. Now, when I go to Walmart or something like that, this is when I stopped shopping at Walmart. I went into Walmart and I started scanning these products. And when I found out what was it, I couldn't buy none of that shit. I walked out with an empty cart. Okay, let's read some of this stuff. Because not only does it tell you what's in it, and when you know what's in it, you got to be an idiot to still buy it. But then it tells you what it does to you. Okay? This right here, mono, blah, 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 shit you can't even pronounce. It says this additive could increase the risk of developing cancers and cardiovascular disease. So when you eating that garbage, this bullshit, this is what it's doing to your body. Okay? Could. No, it is increasing the risk of developing cancers and cardiovascular disease. It is also suspected to disrupt gut flora, which could lead to an increased risk of autoimmune and allergic diseases, as well as inflammatory diseases. All right, that's why your body all messed up. Why you in pain all the time? You can't breathe. Look at this one. This additive contains phosphorus, a mineral whose current intake exceeds recommendation and whose excess could disrupt both mineralization, have a harmful effect on the kidneys, and increase the risk of cardiovascular disease. Additionally, it could be associated with a increased risk of breast cancer. Okay? So our people are simple as hell, and they still eat this garbage. That's too sweet, a bit too caloric, a bit too fatty, just bad on every fashion of the way. Okay, and when you have children, you have to be mindful of what you feeding your children, because you could be feeding them poison. You know, giving them poison. Okay, look at this apple juice. Pour 34. Okay, and what I like about this app too is it gives you better healthier options. Okay, it gives you healthier options or recommendations for better stuff. But enough about that. Let's go back here. She's bragging about all the money she spent on garbage, man. And them kids back there, they been poisoned. That, you know, you can see it in them. You know, this is why your kids all messed up. All right. Let's go over here, man. And it should piss you off because that wasn't food. It was colorful poison. It says Ezekiel chapter 4 verse 13, and the Lord YAHAWASHI said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whether I would drive them. So no matter what we do, our food is defiled here anyways. But you can eat better things. I hate when this thing that niggas say now. You tell them something's bad for you, or everything bad for you. Well, yeah, but choose better options. Okay? You right, everything is bad for us, but I don't mean you just go all out on some bullshit. Okay? And when you eating like this brings disease, sickness, cancer, high hypertension, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes. And that's why Jake all jacked up. Okay? This is what they're feeding you, man. Like I said, I stopped shopping at Walmart. All right, that's where all the poor people shop, and it's the reason why they want you shopping there for a reason, because all that shit is garbage. Remember, I went there and I went down every aisle and I scanned all these products that I might have wanted, and I had to put the shit back. I ended up leaving with an empty cart. I left the cart in the aisle and just walked out of that motherfucker. Okay, but this right here is poor parenting. Okay. And I want to say something else too, man. A lot of times these women, I saw this with my brother and his woman. They got a newborn baby, you know, where she I think she won around the time, and the mama, you know, she like Italian or something. She didn't want to breastfeed because she wanted to go out and drink and club and party and shit. So she didn't want to breastfeed, so she's giving the baby formula, which that formula is garbage. Okay, and not to mention when because they was in town, so I had them come over, you know, when we hung out with her for a little bit. This bitch gonna buy the baby some some convenience store, 2% milk, okay, cow milk, for the baby to drink, man. And then the baby started getting all constipated and having all issues and crying and stuff, and they don't know what's going on. I said, because y'all giving that baby bullshit, okay? You people don't care about your kids, man. You don't care about yourselves, much less your kids. Look at her. You tell her she don't care about herself, but then you having all these damn kids, man. Quay party of 9 is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is sickening, man. And I get infuriated when I see Jake doing shit like this, because it's a lack of understanding. It's a lack of a few things. But even, you got certain Jakes that be in the truth. Drinking soda. What the hell you still drinking soda for, man? And then they claim to be in the truth. This truth ain't just about reading some scriptures off the, out of the Bible. It's about living it. Okay? You should know your enemy now by now. What are you doing drinking some high fructose corn syrup filled drinks, which is just nothing but liquid diabetes? And then you get sick and you trying to figure out what's going on with you. You got to cut this shit out. Okay? And a lot of us was raised on this bullshit. Okay? Wonder why you can't lose weight. Wonder why your body all inflamed. Okay? Because they're poison. They're giving you poison. That's what you're buying. And that's why it is a good thing that Trump is cutting these food stamps, man. Because this what y'all buying? Them damn noodles are horrible for you. Okay? This is why I constantly say, go get that Yuka app. It's free. And you can scan stuff before you buy it. And it's going to let you know whether you should buy it or not. Okay? I hate when I see somebody feeding a child something and I scan it and it's complete garbage. And they're, and they're going to continue to feed it to the child. You people ain't fit to have kids, man. Okay? But that's my little rant. Let me grab this real quick. Okay? Because this is Job 39. In verse 13, it says, Gavest thou the goodly wings unto the peacocks, or wings and feathers unto the ostrich, which leaveth her eggs in the earth, and warmeth them in dust, and forgetteth that the foot may crush them, or that the wild beast may break them. She is hardened against her young ones, as though they were not hers. Her labor is in vain without fear. You see, these women, they don't, and this is, comparing you women to animals, basically. Okay, you're being compared to an animal, all right? A dumb animal with no sense. You don't care about your child enough to make sure that you do your research on things you're giving them. People just get a kid shit. You ain't done no research on that. And then when the child gets sick and you in and out of the hospital trying to figure out what the fuck going on, you did it. You did it. You killed your own child. You poisoned your own child. Okay? A lot of these ingredients, like I said, above recommended, dosage or whatever. Listen, if it's a recommended amount you're supposed to eat, to where it becomes poison, you probably shouldn't be eating it at all. But Esau does this on purpose because, our people are simple and they're going to go in there and eat it and end up dying. Which another thing, too, after camp, me and the brothers, we'll go get some food. We used to, we used to go to, these little restaurants, the little sports bars and shit. But that shit got cut. We done with that shit, bro. Now we going to, healthier spots. And what I noticed is all the healthier restaurants, you got, I can name a few, like Fresh Kitchen, stuff like that, where it's actual real food there they cooking and serving you. It's in the Edomite neighborhoods. And Esau the one that's, enjoying that food and healthy and shape. They be working out, they be running and jogging, and they come in there and get some actual food and, but Jake out here eating bullshit, okay? Fries and wings and shit, bro. That shit is garbage, okay? It says, because the Most High hath deprived her of wisdom, and it's the point. Because the Most High hath deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted to her understanding. And these women tell you they don't need a man, okay? And they do got a man. Who was popping this thing anyways? But if they do got a man, it's some low-life loser that's probably smoking a Black and Mild on one side of the mouth and a cigarette on the other side of his mouth. This is wickedness, man. This is wickedness, bro. Then she had her dance at the end with her jelly roll under her neck jiggling, man. We got to do better. We got to do better. And this is why a lot of you jakes here in America are going to have to get left here in America because you ain't right. And brothers been in the spirit lately of getting in the gym, taking care of your diet. Our elders and apostles taught us that. If you ain't in the gym, if you ain't taking care of your diet, then do you really have the truth? You can recite, you can repeat, all the breakdowns, like a mockingbird, but do you really understand what you're a part of? Are you really in the truth? Do you really know who your enemy is? And a lot of our people, they don't. And this is why a lot of Jake ain't gonna make it, bro. A lot of Jake ain't gonna make it. You sitting around eating all this garbage and trying to figure out why you jacked up, man, and on your deathbed. There's no coincidence, man. Jake don't know nothing about fasting, intermittent fasting. They just eating all day, and you ain't even eating food. These kids are hungry. Them kids starving. Because they ain't ate no real food or who knows how long. Look how sick and depressed they look. They ain't happy to see that food. They're like, damn, mama killing us. You know? It's pathetic, man. Let's grab some of these comments, though, man. Because everybody see it, but ain't nobody saying nothing. I'm going to say something. Let me see. Let's go and get some of these comments. Somebody said, I don't understand why all y'all be so damn mad. Whatever. Processed food should be banned from EBT. Somebody else said, this is why she's bigger than the refrigerator. Not a single produce in sight. Just sugar and junk. Even the only 2 fruits she got were in processed containers. That haul isn't fuel for your body. It's just high cholesterol, morbid obesity, and diabetes boxed up in colorful packaging, by the way. This is so sad. This is why y'all be big as hell now, just greedy. Is this the young lady that got cut off because of this video? I now have diabetes. Yeah, you get diabetes just watching that stuff. Bunch of junk food. No wonder she's 400 pounds. Okay, so we ain't in the time, man, of being simple, okay, and just putting anything in your mouth. All right, this is the time to really, consider. If you're still eating fast food, whether it be Popeyes or, Taco Bueno or whatever the fuck you people eat nowadays, you should be ashamed of yourself, man. She should be ashamed of herself. You feeding this to your kids, man. So imagine as they get older, after they've been on a diet of garbage, how functional they're going to be in a society. Okay, and what you eat, okay, is fuel for your body, and that affects your your mental, your mind state. What you eat, and what you listen to. Niggas be eating that garbage and listening to some NBA YoungBoy and wonder why you got demons on you. It's complete, it's so much stuff I want to say, but I'm not gonna say because this is YouTube. But hey, just let this be a warner, a eye opener. And if you living like this or eating like this, you really need to check yourself, man, before you wreck yourself. It says in the NLT, she is harsh toward her young. You know why you harsh? Because you feeding them stuff that you ain't even researched. You ain't even sought out if it was actually good for them or not. It's not nutritious in any way. It says as if they were not her own, just giving your kids anything. She doesn't care if they die. You don't care if they die, because if you did, you wouldn't feed them. You wouldn't just feed them anything. You wouldn't just feed them garbage, man. But hey, here we are, right? So I keep putting noise in the back. It says, for the Most High hath deprived her of wisdom and has given her no understanding. All right. So you don't need a man, but this is what you're doing to a man's children. Okay, feeding them a bunch of garbage, letting them watch anything, listen to anything, eat anything, And this is why you have such thing called 2/3, because 2/3 were created here in America. 2/3 are over here in America, man. GMO babies, which I remember when GMOs first became a thing, That's when these diseases and diabetes and stuff skyrocketed because they putting all type of artificially geo-engineered food or stuff in your food. Okay, it's garbage, man, and this should piss you off when you see stuff like that. This is why everybody ain't meant to have kids, man. Okay, everybody is not meant to have children, because what you're gonna do is they're gonna be worse off than you are. That's the point, though. Shalom, come and all about the ball. Hey, Shalom, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH, block you for the noise in the back, but I'm back. I just want to say a few more things about this, man, because the Jake woman, she don't understand calorie intake. She doesn't understand nutrition. She doesn't understand these things. Okay, and in return, you putting your children at risk. Okay, then not to mention, she said how they was going to go to the store again. They're gonna go to a different store, to get more garbage. And then Esau, he allows these women to do this stuff to destroy themselves and her children, because he don't care about you. But now we in a time where they gonna just leave people to starve. And like I was going into it last night in my video, you know, about how these people gonna be eating their own children. You think her big ass is gonna miss a meal? Nah, she gonna make them kids a meal, man. You know, none of that stuff was actual food. And when you think about it, even the meat, down to the meat, all that meat in them stores, them big box stores like Walmart and Sam's Club, all that stuff is, you know, pumped with all type of, you know, hormones and different stuff like that, you know. So as you grow in this, you know, in life in general, but especially in this truth, you gotta say no to a lot of shit, man, that we, you know, probably grew up on or grew up, you know, doing, you know, and it starts with, you know, what you're consuming, what you're putting in your body. Okay, your mind can't think straight. Them kids probably got all type of health issues and, you know, mental issues and stuff because of the fuel that's been put in their body. It's not fuel, it's garbage. It's like if you know, pour Dr. Pepper down your gas tank in your car, the car is not going to run. Okay, that motherfucker might blow up on you. All right, the engine gonna blow, and now that car is no good. How much more your body? You know, these are things that we got to consider. Hold on 1 second. Can I help you? Get the fuck up. You know.
Get some hardware.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. Bring that back now. Salakia, you know. So we in a time where all hell is about to break loose, and Jake's still eating garbage. Jake still don't know who their enemy is, who their oppressor is, man. You know, then she had nerve to say, we gonna go to another store. You don't need to go to no more stores, man. That ain't enough, you know. But Esau, he allowed this, okay? He understood what splitting the households up and putting the woman in charge and giving her all these, you know, benefits would do, you know. Hey, when people come to my house, they ask for snacks. You got snacks? People just snacking all day. You got snacks? Somebody asked me the other day, and I was like, look, man, I got goddamn fruit. I got apples and oranges, man. Which one you want? I don't have any snacks. I had to get on my demon about that. Going shopping and bringing that garbage into the house. Nah, because then you gonna want to eat it. You know, you gonna want to, you know, eat some of that stuff, man. It ain't food. I told you, don't bring it into this house again. Don't bring it over here. You know, don't feed it to my child. You know, we gotta cut all that stuff, man. And then anything that she understands now, anything that she gives, you know, him. Hey, you better scan it first, man, because if I scan it, I find out it's gonna be it's gonna be some problems. You know, if I see it that he eating it and I scan it and I see you feeding him poison, because that's really what you're doing, man. All right, it's really what you're doing, and that should be, you know, not taken lightly. You know, because like I said, then your kids be having all these health problems, and you went out of the hospital, and then the hospital and the medical, you know, they just giving you more poison. You know, so we in a time where being simple, Scripture says, be not ignorant of anything. You know, being simple and not taking heed to this stuff, you know, is going to be detrimental. Okay? As our beloved elders and apostles taught us, now is the time to start really getting in shape, taking care of your health. Okay? Watching, you know, what you consume. Being mindful of, you know, the do's and the don'ts when you putting something in your mouth. All right, and eat less too, because no matter what, all this food is bad. Okay, eat less. I always mention how I go to where Esau shop at, man. All right, I go to where Esau shop at. I ain't going where, you know, you got Jake at, man. You know, I actually go to a meat market and get my meat. You know, where because they gonna make sure that they eat good. The neighborhood I go to, you got people in that area, Edomites, walking, you know, doing fast-paced walking, and they be like 70, 80, 90 years old, bro. I kid you not. It's like an old people place, you know, where all the old people at, but they walking all fast, and then they be going there getting their food from out of there. And, you know, and when you eat the food, it make you feel better. It got, you know, a better vibration on it. But also too, like I told you about Fresh Kitchen, you got another place called So Fresh. These are places you can go to get, you know, real food for the most part, man. Okay, you ain't gonna have a bunch of, you know, processed bullshit. None of it's fried. Another thing is the seed oils. You know, these places that they don't use some different seed oils, man. That's horrible for your body. But we had went to this restaurant the other day after camp, you know, and I kid you not, I kid you not, we walked in, we was the only Jakes in there, okay? And these restaurants, they'll have no Jakes in there, you know, and if they are in there, then they someone working in the kitchen, you know, and even then, it's only few of them in the kitchen, okay? But that right there go to show you that Esau knows what to and what not to eat, man. All right, they have dietitians and shit. They got their kids on strict diets where they ain't eating no McDonald's and all that other garbage that Jake eat, man. And you wonder why they, you know, in much better health. Okay. So, you know, that's just something that, you know, I want to speak on, man. Like I said, the scripture says, "Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small." So this ain't the time to be being simple. Oh, well, everything bad for you. That's a nigga mentality, man. That's a nigga's mentality. And you know what's gonna happen to niggas? They're gonna have to perish over here in America, bro. Perish with America. All right. What she showed you was the American diet. Okay. All that stuff, you can't pronounce none of those ingredients. You don't know exactly what you're eating. I saw a video the other day. Somebody was like, somebody said, if one person is drinking lean, you know, hypermethazine, which is a drug, and another person is eating Chick-fil-A, which person consumed the more drugs? and everybody said lean. Well, the person drinking lean, he said nope, the person eating Chick-fil-A, because there's more drugs in it, you know. It's like, you know, so many ingredients in one little, you know, chicken sandwich. And you find out that, you know, you really been drugged, man. You really been drugged. Not to mention all the sauces and stuff, the bread, you know. That's why they saying you gotta start making your own shit, bro. You know, start, hey, cooking at home, and it's a lot cheaper than going out and buying all this packaged garbage. You know, this is sick, bro. That Welch's drink, hey man, that stuff is garbage, man. You know, the juicy juice stuff they give you on that wick, all that stuff, that's why they give it to you for free with the wick and stuff, because it's all poison. Okay, the bread, all that stuff, you gotta cut that stuff out, man. And hey, since I started cutting a lot of that shit out, hey man, I've lost over 35 pounds. You know, I lost over 35 pounds. Okay, but we wasn't raised like this. We wasn't taught this stuff growing up. Okay, because you was likely raised by a single mother who, you know, had no guidance and no understanding, man. So it's time to break these generational curses and don't pass it on to your own children. You know, take care of your body, take care of your health. You know, move, work out. You know, and move more than you eat. You know, not just not eating, but eating a lot less. Move more than you eat. All right. Shalom.